In today's lesson, we're talking about the very start of the golf swing, the takeaway, and we're going to give you some really important checkpoints to ensure you're getting your golf swing off to the best possible start. So welcome back to the Forest of Arden. We're once again on the par 3, 15th, and we're talking about takeaway. So in today's lesson, you're going to learn about what the body does, you're going to learn about what the hands and the arms do, and you're also going to get some great checkpoints that you can use next time you practice to ensure you're getting your golf swing off to the best possible start. So just before we get started, as always, if you're not a subscriber to my channel, I would love you to be part of that. It's absolutely free and we can help you play some better golf this year. There's a link in the description box down below which will allow you to be that free subscriber, and it just means that you won't miss out on any of the videos that are coming each week. So the takeaway, now we do not hit the golf ball with the first part of the golf swing, we appreciate that, but it's really important that we kind of do certain things early on to make sure we give ourselves the greatest chance of making good contact. So as we said a moment ago, we're going to talk about the role of the body, we're going to talk about the role of the arms, and we're going to give you some checkpoints that you can use next time you practice. So we're going to get rid of the club to begin with. And we're just going to get you to take your normal starting position that you would to the golf ball, but just place your hands across your shoulders. Now, in the first part of the golf swing, we have to initiate some amount of rotation. And that rotation is the shoulders, it's the torso, it's the hips, it's the legs, it's the knees. And all of those things have to rotate in that takeaway. Now, the rate of rotation is not the same through the whole body. So what we'd mean by the rate of rotation is we wouldn't want the rotation to be like this, where my shoulders have rotated by the same amount as my hips and my knees. When we initiate that golf swing, the shoulders are going to turn at a higher rate. So at this point here, I have got rotation through my knees, rotation through my hips, rotation through my upper body, but I've got more rotation through my upper body than I have through the rest. So the first little exercise we'd have you do is actually just to initiate some rotation, but feeling as if that rotation is varied through the body. More in the shoulders, less in the hips, less in the knees. But the key thing would be there is rotation through the whole body, it's just not a huge amount in the lower body. When we also look from the front on, we really want to make sure that in that first part of the golf swing, we're not really making any lateral movements towards or away from the target. Like we said a moment ago, we don't hit the golf ball in the takeaway, but let's say you begin your golf swing with some shift this way, it becomes really hard to move in the correct way in the rest of the golf swing, and we're going to find compensations have to be in there in order to fix that. So we're looking at the rate of rotation, and we're looking at feeling like we stay a little bit more centered over the golf ball. And this is very simply a little exercise that you can do at home, in the office, at the driving range, in front of a reflection or a mirror, just to start to understand how the body moves in that early part of the golf swing. The second thing we said to talk about is what the arms do. Now, if I place my arms down here as if I've got a golf club, and if I add that rotation in my body, that's going to create some movement of my arms. But my arms do something in that takeaway as well. If you notice my trail arm, it's going to begin to fold. And that's a little bit of external rotation of this trail shoulder. So in that takeaway, and my right arm stays very, very slightly flexed, but as I rotate, it begins to fold and sit down as I start to externally rotate that trail shoulder. The elbows, however, are staying very, very close. You'll also notice in that down the line camera that I have some connection between my upper arms and my body. So my hands move on this very, very slightly arcing inward path. They're certainly not moving away from my body, which would be very disconnected. We can also see the hands move away when we get a lot of roll in those arms early on. So if we can start to get the body moving correctly, get the arms to work very nicely around that body, we start to be able to get some really nice movements early on in the golf swing. Bring the golf club back in, and that should look a little bit like this. And there we get the golf club into a really nice position. I've got some rotation through my body. My trail arm has started to sit down or rotate, and the golf club's in a nice position. So what are we looking for in terms of checkpoints? Well, you know, the takeaway really is there to serve a purpose. It's there to get us off to the best possible start. There's a few things in that takeaway which are we can sort of accept some positions that maybe aren't perfect. There's a few things we'd like to see. So we'd like to see at this point here, when the club reaches parallel to the ground, so you can see it's level with the ground there, we'd like to see the club shaft pretty much parallel to where we're trying to go, so our target line, or slightly outside. That'd be a good checkpoint for me. We'd also like to see the club face, so that's the leading edge, vertical or slightly turned down from vertical. And the checkpoint in the body, we've kind of already discussed those. That's making sure from face on we stay nice and centered, and making sure that when we get to that point, you know, we haven't done that all with our arms. We've actually got some movement in the body, and we're getting some rotation through here, and the arms are folding. So if you can use those checkpoints, good rotation in the body, trail arm starting to fold, club shaft in a good position, and club face under control, for me, those are really the key things in that takeaway. Now, the things that are more hidden but are present is as we do that in a golf swing and we have some momentum and some motion, we start to see a bit of pressure shift. But you're not going to feel that when you're rehearsing it slowly and statically. But just bear in mind that at full speed, there would be a little bit of pressure shift into that trail side as you begin to move the golf club away into that position. If takeaway is something that you're struggling with, if it's something that you're working on, it might be an idea to rehearse the takeaway, have a pause, and then hit a golf shot. Now, any of you who will know my golf swing or know what I do, you'll know that I struggle a little bit with the first part of the golf swing. I tend to get the club a little bit too much inside. So a really great little exercise for me is actually just to do those things that we just discussed and hit a golf shot. So I'm going to preset my takeaway. I'm pretty happy with where the club is and where my body is. From there, I just turn back and give it a hit. So that would be a drill that I would work on, because takeaway for me is really important. When I get my takeaway correct, I see lots of good things happening through the rest of my golf swing. Get that takeaway incorrect, and I suddenly start to see some things that I don't particularly like. So takeaway really important for a lot of golfers. Use those checkpoints, get your takeaway better, and you should see some good things happening later on in your golf swing, and ultimately some better shots and some lower scores. So takeaway, use those checkpoints, improve yours, and improve your scores as well. Thank you very much for watching. Usual stuff, as always, is below this video. There's a like button down there, there's a comments box if you'd like to leave me a comment, and there's that subscribe link as well to help you join my channel and improve your golf. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here again soon.